Hey, what are you doing? Not yet. Put on a sweatshirt. Let's not waste electricity. Not yet. Get a blanket, throw a jacket on. It's not cold enough yet. But it's only 65. November 1st, okay? We'll turn the heat on November 1st. Let's save some electricity here. Keep that electric bill down. Come on, I'm freezing, man. Well, I don't know if it'll translate on video, but that maple tree is looking amazing. And it's getting chillier out, which is causing those leaves to turn color. So in the daytimes, we are somewhere in the 50s usually. At nighttime, we are in the high 30s, low 40s. So it's starting to get chilly. And as you can imagine, inside the house is getting chilly too. But for me, when to turn the heat on is a matter of simple economics. Let's talk about it. So I have been putting off turning on those electric baseboard heaters, turning on the pellet stove, because it's not that I'm cheap, but I'm definitely frugal. And we do have the electric baseboard heaters on controls that will not let the house get below 50 degrees, so there's no chance of the pipes freezing. But you know, our house is well insulated. It's not super old. It's about 20 years old. So it stays warmer than the outside air, but it does get chilly at night. So sometimes when I'm going to bed and I look at that thermostat and I see that it's like 63, it's pretty chilly. We throw another blanket on the bed. So when is the right time to turn the heaters on? Well, in my mind, it depends on a couple things. First of all, I encourage layering up. So if it's just a chilly night, it's going to be down in the 50s. Your house isn't actually going to get that chilly on the inside, maybe stay 65 degrees. I say throw a sweatshirt on rather than turning those electric baseboard heaters on and using those additional kilowatts of energy. Or if your house has natural gas or propane, using that additional gas. The same thing with the pellet stove. On those chilly evenings, sometimes you can be tempted to get that nice quick warmth from the pellet stove, but that's just using pellets that you don't really need to use. It's usually just a few hours before bed when we're sitting down for the evening. Maybe it's a little chilly, but a couple things you can do there. You can either stay active, keep on working for the day, or throw a sweatshirt on, go to bed a little bit early. Those are some ways to keep from using pellets or electricity or gas or propane. But today is actually chilly enough. It's in the 50s, it's going to be in the low 40s tonight. And throughout the rest of the weekend, it's going to be chilly. So today, we will light our first fire in the wood stove. And why I would rather start a fire in the buck stove than turn on the pellet stove or turn on those electric baseboard heaters is because I've got enough firewood to keep the house warm. It doesn't cost me any additional money. I've already put the work in to create that firewood. Our buck stove is in the basement, so it actually heats the entire floor of the first floor. That keeps us plenty warm enough throughout the evening. So we don't have to turn the electric heater on, we don't have to turn the pellet stove on, we can just use the wood stove for a while until it gets really cold. Then we might supplement the wood stove heat with those electric heaters or the pellet stove. I did a video in the past comparing the pellet stove and the wood stove. If you haven't seen those videos, I'll put a link to that up above. I also did a video in the past about how much electricity we save burning the wood stove through the winter. I'll put a link to that video up above. There is no doubt in my mind that burning the wood stove throughout the winter saves us a lot of money. So I'm down here in the basement now by the buck stove, but I've got some preparation to do for the first fire of the winter. First of all, I want to take a look up through the chimney with a mirror, see if the chimney looks all cleaned out. This is not one of the years we have to clean out our fireplace chimney. We had the chimney sweep guy come and he said, you know, every 3 or 4 years is probably plenty for us because we burn only dry wood, we burn only hardwoods, and it keeps the chimney nice and clean of the creosote that can build up. Obviously, your situation may differ, so some people need to have their chimneys cleaned once a year or more frequently. Always consult with an expert before you decide. I have showed this process in the past of getting the wood stove ready for wintertime. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the inside out, I'll vacuum it out, I'll clean the glass using newspaper and the ash from inside. That's a little tip and trick for you. Newspaper and ash work great to get this glass clean. I'm going to go ahead and get at that, and then we'll get our fire going. First fire of 2023 to 2024 winter. I've talked in previous videos about my system of putting the paper on top as well as the balled up paper with the kindling to get the flue warm, to get the chimney warm, and then the smoke starts going up rather than out. I do have my air intakes open on the stove, and I will leave the door open at very first here until these flames start going up the chimney. But you can see at first the flames do come out the front because there is no draft up the chimney. It's kind of backdrafting into the house. All that newspaper on top helps the flames burn hotter, faster, and that creates some draw for the air to go up the chimney. You can see the difference there. Without the door open, the fire's burning, but smoke is coming out the front right here. Put the door so it's just cracked a little bit. It sucks the air in the front, across the flames, and no more smoke out the front. It also increases the amount of flames. Remember, the key to a good heating fire is good wood. This is seasoned oak and cherry that I'll be placing in on top of the kindling. Here's a nice piece of red oak. Now I'm going to close the door, but leave the air intake open here, close our draft, close our damper just a tiny bit at the top, but not much yet. We still want all that smoke to go up the chimney. Let plenty of air in there. In fact, we'll pull this damper back open. We're starting to accumulate some smoke in there. We'll let that go up the chimney. We'll just keep an eye on it here for a couple minutes. We're burning good enough now that I will start to close the damper down a little bit. What I like to do is push it all the way in, pull it all the way back out, especially the first time of the year, just to make sure that there's not creosote build up on that slide. Right now I'm going to push it about halfway in. I'm going to close the air down completely on this left side of the stove. I've talked in the past about the catalytic combustion feature of this buck stove. There's a lot of great advantages to using catalytic combustion. It burns the smoke as a secondary burn, is way more efficient with the wood. I'm going to close this side down, the air inlet, about halfway for now. And then this stove, I need to let build up heat until we're in that catalytic function of the stove. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. First fire in the buck stove of the winter of 2023-24. Just the process of getting ready to build a fire actually warmed me up plenty enough, carrying in the firewood, splitting up the kindling, cleaning out the stove. I could have waited at least another day before lighting the stove, but Jennifer and Mackenzie will be happy that there is heat tonight when we sleep. Like I said, it will warm the ceiling of the basement, which is the floor of our bedrooms, so we'll be nice and toasty tonight. In fact, it may even get a little bit too warm because this thing really does put out the heat. Thanks for watching. Please give us a big thumbs up down below. Leave a comment Is there a certain date you guys try to hold out until to light your stove or turn on your heat or turn on the gas? I'm always curious what other people do. Obviously, it's going to depend on what area of the country or world you are in. Colder climates probably light those stoves a little bit earlier than we do here in Northwest Pennsylvania. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again the next time.